welcome to the first episode podcast, aka the FEPCAST. I think I might start a separate feed called FEPCAST. I think I like it better. I think it's more easily found. FEPCAST.
Feppy.
More provocative.
Yeah, right?
Is this a sex podcast
Mm-hmm.
or what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have our
You
Feppy
can
preppies.
get all sorts of online creeps to tune in for 1 minute.
Oh,
if
please.
they realize
God.
what they're looking for.
If the OnlyFans private jets I've seen being bought by these not even that attractive OnlyFans models, I mean, I appreciate hot chicks making money, but so many of these women I see are mid at best. Then they're like, here's my private jet I made with my asshole. And I'm like, there's so many scumbags on the internet. Why are we not courting the scumbags? Get on here. John, show your birthday butthole.
Yeah, I was going to say, are any of these,
Happy birthday.
are they all women who make this money on OnlyFans? Are there any men buying OnlyFans private jets?
I've thought about whether or not, especially as my professional career has hit a bit of a doldrums, whether or not I can just show butthole and play with myself on camera and get away with it and make a good amount of money. I mean,
you're going to do it anyway.
There's a market for it. If there's any indication, the gays love me. I'll tell you that much. I am like candy to the gays. Every time I go, Don, you missed it. We went to Vegas with for our buddy Jason's birthday. And by the way, it's Don's birthday show. Happy birthday, Don.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you, fellas. Thank you.
But I'm immediately being felt up by one of the two gay men that was accompanying our group. So, I mean, there's a market for this guy. But as we were talking about pre-show, I just had a hernia surgery. And they opened me up. I have half a C-section going on down there. I mean, it's gnarly. It's way gnarlier than I thought it was going to be for my hernia. And we were talking about like what I can and can't do. I can't pick up my kids. I can't pick up like a case of water, nothing over 10 pounds. I can't run or do anything for like 6 weeks. But what was funny was I'm in the recovery area and the nurse is going through like, here's what you can and can't do before I get discharged. And she goes, so, like no hard labor at home, no vacuuming, no mopping. And I was like, this is hard labor to you. This Matt, like I was laughing and Charlie, I'm like, don't laugh in her face.
We can't pass the Swiffer on the floor. I mean, that's not even 10 pounds worth of effort.
I literally, I was in my head. I'm like, there's so many jokes. There's so many things I want to say in response to no hard labor at home, like vacuuming. But I was still in pain and recovering from the deep anesthesia they put me under. Which is always fun. Anesthesia is fun.
What'd they tell you about like jacking off or doing sex?
Well, I'll tell you another anecdote. Hadn't done anything. And then after 5 long days, I go in the shower and I'm like, it's probably fine if I do a little shower tug here. So I start going at it and I'm like, ow. I'm also almost there. I'm like, hilarious. Maybe I can finish. I'm like, ow.
Oh no. Yeah. The searing pain was too much.
It got so painful. I'm like, it would be the worst if I have to go back and they have to fix my surgery. And he's like, it's like my Chinese doctor. He's like, so it looks like they were pulled, like somebody pulled out the stitches. Yeah. Were you
had
on something down there?
You were jerking it. I know.
Don't be in the eye and lie. You tell me you were masturbating. So yeah,
grab your nuts right now.
Yeah. My shower drain pipes have never been cleaner.
Yeah. That's what it's like when a priest masturbates, what you were feeling.
Good to know.
I need to skip
the new Pope has fluffers.
7 minutes of this show. I feel this is where it always goes.
It's only been 5.
We're talking about jerking off somehow.
No, we're talking about.
I'm just going to come in at 9:10 from now on.
We can move. We can move on. Today, we're talking about 2 shows, as we always do here on the FEPCAST. One of which is Get a Life, which launched Chris Elliott into superstardom, or whatever you want to call happened to Chris Elliott.
Yeah, mediocrity.
A solid career of mediocrity before falling off the planet.
Mhm.
And the other one is The Four Seasons, which is a new Netflix show. It's a dramedy about couples, and it's based on an Alan Alda movie of the same name. Which would you boys like to start with?
Let's start with the new show.
All right.
Because this was labeled a comedy.
Uh,
It had comedic actors in it. It had Tina Fey. It had
mhm.
Steve Carell. Was that
Will
Forte.
Forte. Yeah,
Yeah.
we love him.
And
there's
another
who I
guy,
don't know.
Domingo. Rico, you're going in and out on your mic, by the way. Domingo something or other. And he's in a lot of shit. He's like a black actor that's in a lot of stuff right now. And he plays the gay couple, the black dude, the gay couple. There's also a Italian gay man. And also it has the chick from The State, and also Reno 911. She's like a very, very well-known actress. If you saw her face, you'd recognize her instantly. She's also in it. So yes, huge comedic cast, to Rico's point. Go on, Rico.
And the premise sucked. Well, I guess I'm jumping to the end. But I didn't particularly care for the premise. It was like 3 middle-aged couples go to the woods. Was it summer vacation? I don't know. It was
the guy he has a boathouse. So it's like, I think, a Hamptons boathouse, because the one guy's very wealthy.
Yeah. So they go there and they proceed to have a very boring time. It seemed like the worst gathering ever. No fun. They're sitting around a table. One guy's cooking crawfish or something else.
Yep. Crawdads. You got to pinch
maybe
the head.
Pinch
and suck.
Yeah,
Pinch and suck.
No one's getting fucked up. They're just, except Steve Carell was getting fucked.
They were fucked. That was the one funny part in the whole episode, I thought, was there's a whole montage of them getting ready and calling each other. Get in the car. We're going to go pick you up and we'll drive down. We're on our way. And they get to this river or this lake house, and they get a call from Steve Carell. Or is it a call or a text? I think it's a text. And it says, hey, be careful driving down the road. There's lots of night creatures out. And as they get the text, they then shine the head beams on Steve Carell and the chick from The State, going, because he's all hammered. And he goes, I've already been drinking. Now, that part was funny, but also sending a text message 30 seconds before people are going to run into you drunk in the street, not a good strategy for staying alive.
It's dangerous. But he was drunk, so that's why he thought it was a good idea.
That's true. And
So
I respect him for it.
What did they proceed to have a boring time the first day? Very boring.
Mm-hmm.
Should have talked about this on the boring show back we had it.
Yeah. If only we reboot it for boring shows to review. Then the next day, one of the guys wants to go into town and he wants Tina Fey to drive him. No one else can drive, apparently. That was dumb. And it's like, we're having this crazy weekend. Let's go into town and go to CVS and pick up your prescriptions, which is literally what they're doing. Why would you not pick up prescriptions before you go away for the weekend? Like,
and
you're only all your
responsibilities. And how long are you going to be gone for? You can't just wait 2 days and take your pill.
Yeah, 2 days.
Yeah.
Are they antipsychotics? Is it birth control?
It's like
the gay guy had to go, so probably not birth control.
So those 2 or 3 go to the drugstore, and Steve Carell, Will Forte, and the gay Italian guy go hiking, right? Yeah. And that's when Steve Carell says he's leaving his boring wife.
That's right.
This is the only. I'm like, up to this point, I didn't laugh at all. And then he's like,
there you go.
He's like explaining why. He's like, I hate her. And I laughed at that.
That was
as Rico said, the premise of this show, it's called The Four Seasons because the episodes, I watched something like 8 episodes of the show. And I don't even know why, and that was 5 episodes more than I wanted to watch. But at that point, I'd already become invested. And I said, okay, I'll just keep watching. the premise is, Steve Carell dumps his wife and she becomes, and people can, I think, relate to this, is if you're in a relationship for a long time, I'm sure there hits a point where you're like, I'm over this person. They're boring. They're not the same person. They've changed, and that's what Steve Carell says about his wife, which is the chick from the state, that she's unadventurous. She used to be up for anything, and now she's not up for anything. And he's miserable. Now, Steve Carell also has a daughter, by the way. So, she's older. She's in college, but he has a daughter. Mm-hmm. So there's a later scene, right? They're all like, oh, my God, what do we do here? Because now the friends don't know what to do. Do they tell their wives? Do they tell their husbands? Do they tell the lady that's about to get dumped by Steve Carell? So they're trepidatious. What do we do here? But at the same time, then there's a scene later on. They all go out on the boat on the lake, and Steve Carell jumps in the water, as does everybody else. And they actually get his stick in the mud wife to jump in the water. And it's like, oh my God. And they start kissing in the water. So you think, oh, maybe they're going to make up. Maybe she's showing him that she's more than what he thought. And he's going to come around. And everybody's kind of like, oh, look, they're kissing.
Yeah. She's fun again.
Immediately after. Yeah, she's fun again. Look, lowest lump is fun again. Immediately after, she tries to swim to the boat. And everybody else has no problem getting up into the boat again. It's a short thing. You put your foot on the ladder and hop up. She can't do it. And she's like, oh, help me. Oh, I can't. Oh. And I can tell at that point in time, I was on team Steve Carell 100%. I wanted to kick her right in the face. Just kick her right in the face off the boat.
I'd leave her.
Also, the only thing she wants to do is play, what's that, like farm game?
Yeah, Farmville.
On her iPad. Yeah. I've never played that game. Is it very fun?
I've never played it.
I think it's, back in the old days, people liked it.
Well,
I mean, it got addictive. Our buddy Jason worked for Zynga at the time. He might still, and he was like, that game made so many millions of dollars. And he's like, you don't understand. It's got 5 million players. All the money comes from 0.02% of people that just get addicted and just spend all their money on Farmville all the time. It's insane.
That is crazy.
So she kind of proves Steve Carell's point that she sucks. And then there comes a twist in that, oh, whoops, they're having a giant garden party at his house that nobody knew about. The wife that's about to get her ass kicked to the curb has organized a huge vows renewing party with guests, with family, with friends that all have come in at great expense with a band and a specialty, whatever. Mm-hmm. And she's hoping, as we find out, she's hoping in truth, because she knows in her heart of hearts that Steve Carell wants to dump her, that this is going to fix things.
Oh, well, so I don't know this. I didn't watch 8 episodes. So
no, this is episode.
No, it wasn't. The end of the first episode is she sends Steve Carell out somewhere to do like a cast.
Oh, I thought the
and
first
then
ended.
The whole cast goes outside and they're like, what is this? It's like, it's for the wedding renewal. And that's the end of the first episode.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, no, she knew maybe it comes in a second episode. You find out that she really did know this was coming. And this was kind of
a really dumb play by her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, Hail Mary. It worked for those shitty Washington Redskins. Jaden Daniels threw up at the end of the game, and that guy was taunting the crowd, the cornerback, and touchdown, baby.
Slightly different circumstances.
She's a huge Skins fan. That was in episode 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes up.
So numerous things. You already kind of took out one of my points, but I would have said, I thought like you would think you would see this coming. It's not like you just have this like perfect relationship and all of a sudden after 25 years, the guy's like, fuck off.
Exactly.
You probably, like a normal guy like me, would whine and bitch nonstop if you're something that is making you mildly unpleasant. So
yeah, that's true. Rico does like to bitch about things making him mildly unpleasant.
To the point where the woman would want to leave me.
Yeah,
drive her away. Doesn't
and if she puts up with it, then at least I'm doing whatever I want.
Yeah,
bitching about crumbs in the butter again.
Right?
Shut the fuck up.
I'm always worried I'm the one being annoying because I'm like, it doesn't bother me. Probably because I'm the one doing the bothering.
Also,
I
doing
can
a
almost
wedding
guarantee that.
renewal, isn't that more of a dude play for a woman?
It sounds
No?
stupid either any way you slice
Well,
it. It's like a
yeah.
waste of money. Like I'm gonna
But
have
like
another
the woman would
spendy wedding.
appreciate the romantic gesture more than a guy would.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
agreed.
Yeah, a guy would
So,
be like,
like,
"This is dumb. Why don't you just have
If
some people
you're
over
if
for a
you're the
barbecue?"
woman to throw up the Hail Mary, you like invite another woman into bed, maybe?
Yeah,
Right?
not a
Like,
I was
not a
thinking the
not
same
a priest.
thing. Thank you, Rico. Yeah, it's like, but guess what? And Steve Carell's making all the money too here. She's like just sits around playing Farmville. She's got no cash. He's like, oh, you spent $100,000 of my money on something I don't care about. A threesome would have been great. How about anal and a blowjob? How about that? You never done asked amounts. How about we do that? It costs nothing. It'll save me $100,000. We might still be together if you did that. Do you think about that?
Yeah. She really needed better advice. She needs better friends, first of all, to advise her.
Well, she hangs out with farm animals. What do you expect?
Well, it's one of those funny things. Like, there's groups of friends you get together with and you don't see that often. And you get together and it's like no time has passed. And that's apparently what it is for these people, right? All right, wonderful. Yeah. We appreciate that friend group. But like you're saying, they're boring. It's a boring friend group. Go get together, do nothing. Something special going on there. And I mean, let me ask you guys, if you were in the situation where, let's say it's me, and this is not based in reality, to be very clear. I'm very happy in my marriage. Let's say
hypothetical.
It's me.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment purposes only. Now watch, this is going to be brought up in court 10 years from now. He was laying seeds.
Everybody, Exhibit A.
I already bitch about little things. Sandy got so mad at me today because she had 2 little zit spots on her cheeks. And I went, oh, you got 2 little matching dimple zits. And she went,
and a third one grew right in front of my eyes. Yeah, these are hate zits, and they're from you.
Oh, she got so mad. Anyway, if it was me and I told you that was going to happen, like, what would you do? Would you tell Sandy? Would you? And granted, and remember, this isn't just guys; this is women too. So pretend you're a woman of less allegiance and fortitude.
It depends how drunk you were when you were
didn't tell
dudes. Oh yeah, you're right. He only told the dudes, but the dudes went and immediately told their wives. I would tell you this: I wouldn't tell my wife. I'd be like, she's gonna get surprised. I'm not telling her shit.
First of all, I'd say I wouldn't tell anybody either, because how many times do people change their mind? They say they're gonna do one thing and they don't do it.
He changed his mind, and now
he's back on me. Like, I mean. He was mumbling something. I didn't. That's not what I took away from it. So I don't know. I was barely listening to him.
Right. Yeah. He was drunk. He was still drunk from last night when we were hiking in the woods. Yeah. Who knows? You can't believe what he was saying. Yeah.
He was talking to a tree. Fucking guy's a lunatic.
Yeah. Like the fact that they all went and told their significant others did piss me off. I'm like, come on, fuck on.
Yeah, they're bitches.
Come on.
Don't share anything with anyone.
Yeah.
No rule of love. Keep it locked.
Yeah. Number one rule of life. Don't share anything with anybody, especially your life.
That's right. So remind me, I don't think you saw Alan Alda in episode 1, did you? From, of course, one of the shows we've already reviewed, MASH. Fantastic. We all gave MASH an A, I believe.
And Alan Alda was in MASH?
Yeah, Alan Alda was Hawkeye Pierce.
Oh, so he
was the guy called Black Guy Spear Chucker. Don't you remember anything?
No,
I don't remember anything. Thank God.
He's watched 5,000 episodes of different shows since that.
Daredevil, the entire Daredevil season.
I did watch it.
all of that stupid show with the chick from Always Sunny. Yeah, Don.
No, I didn't do that. I actually, this last one, so no, I'm not going to spoil anything, but like you, Brian, I did also watch like a handful of these episodes. There was something about the story that I kept hoping it would get good because of
me too.
The comedians. And I'm like, they're in this movie or this show. It's got to be funny at some point. And I'm like, was that funny? No. But I kept watching it thinking something funny was going to happen just because of who's in it. It's very weird.
You know what? You get
nailed it, man.
You get one episode, and actually you get like 10 minutes. But I watched the whole episode. If this is how you come out swinging, you got nothing. Yeah. Especially in this day where there's 10,000 shows coming out every week. Like, I don't have time for this. Be entertaining or get off my TV. There was nothing that made me want to watch the second episode. I couldn't, like, that first episode was over. Like, that is really fucking stupid. Yeah. I chuckled once about a stupid line, and it reminded me of, like, do you ever watch that movie This Is 40?
Yeah. Oh, I hate that.
Horrible movies that could.
There's people that think that movie's good. Idiots. There's idiots in the world that think that movie's good. It's fucking terrible.
I like that movie.
Bingo. See?
He wanted to.
I knew I had to say that.
Let it never be said we don't have diversity of thought on this show. We might not have diversity of skin color. Well, John's.
I think it has.
Jewish.
It has Megan Fox in it. She's hot.
She is hot. So is the blonde chick in it. That was the Hooters girl and Sonny or My Boy or whatever that shit with Adam Sandler was called.
Yeah. You don't like watching Paul Rudd have a midlife crisis at 40 as he lives in a
$2 million funny though. The movie's not funny. It's just depressing and unfunny.
It's also unrealistic. That's why
it came out before I was 40. And I'm like, wow, is that what happens when you're 40? And then of course I'm still not married, so no.
Dodge that one.
Well, I am, and I can tell you, I'm having a wonderful time.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
This hernia, I was having a wonderful time.
Jerking off.
I can't even jerk off without a Chinese doctor yelling at me. So they should have one called "This Is." It should be called "This Is 45."
Yeah. Actually, I think
showing me and Ken Jeong as my Chinese doctor doing this jerk off thing from The Hangover. He goes, "Hey, you." No.
Sandy asked Rico and I to go on a hike. I think she wants to tell us that she's going to leave you.
Can you fly all the way to California for a hike?
Yeah, I need to take a hike. I need to tell you something.
Like, I can't go in the shower anymore. I can't do it.
She goes, I'm leaving Brian.
But yeah, it's
like, what took you so long?
I'm actually, this is my. I'm actually on
more than anything.
Yeah, it could be what would happen in real life.
Probably, but no. To Don's point, the show never gets funnier, never gets better.
No, it's really weird.
When I even looked, I saw the reason I started watching it is because Tina Fey was like a producer and a co-writer, and I'm like, Tina Fey's hilarious. 30 Rock is one of the funniest shows, hands down, I've ever seen in my life. It's one of the best, funniest shows ever made. How? Like, what happened? What happened, Tina Fey? That you can write something this unfunny and dumpy?
I mean, what it is? It's that it's Netflix, and there's no
incentive.
Yeah, it's just like Netflix pays you money. You turn in your product, and then they make it. There's nobody saying this is good or bad because they don't know. People are going to watch it anyway.
I am convinced that people making TV right now have no idea what's good. I mean, I'm not. I'm 100% positive. I think that anything that comes out that's good is pure luck. I mean, I say that unabashedly, pure luck, or somehow a mistake was made.
Or it's on.
That's why I think good content gets made. Somebody made a mistake.
HBO
and let something good get through.
Yeah,
HBO's stopped a lot of shit too lately. They're not batting any higher.
This Is Us or The Last of Us.
How about
that's terrible this season.
Black Severus Snape. We're gonna have to watch that when that comes out. It's just
is that are they doing that still? They're gonna have Black Snape.
Oh yeah, yep. They're pushing forward, man. Let millions of objections from the most diehard fans go unheard. They don't give a fuck.
They should have like a disclaimer at the beginning of it and go, "We know Snape is black. Later on, he uses a spell to make himself white, and that's why he's the Snape that you remember."
See how the ratings go.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that's exactly what they want.
Or something like that.
And like, oh, the black guy had to turn himself white.
All right, so by the way, while we're talking about black guys, let me say the one character in the show I actually liked is the gay black dude. Domingo, whatever his name is. He was actually good. He was the only entertaining character to me. He had the funniest lines. He was the most believable character. He was the most relatable, likable character because he's a gay black dude that likes to drink and party. And you find out later on, spoilers, that actually I know that I think they talk about the first episode. He's having like a heart problem, right?
Yeah, he has some
Yeah,
kind of
they mentioned
disease.
Yeah, he needed a stent.
Later on, spoiler, later on, they go out to a party and they're dancing and he ends up doing a line of blow. And his Italian gay husband is like, oh, freaking out, which he should. Honestly, if you're, a 55-year-old dude with a heart problem, you probably shouldn't be out drinking and doing lines of blow at clubs. So, but I was like, relatable.
10 years.
Relatable.
Ryan, you got bypass surgery tomorrow.
Ryan, you're hurting.
He's gonna end up marrying a flamboyant gay Italian who takes great care of me. My life would turn out so much better.
Yeah.
It's just a little line, Fabio. Or Bob. What's the guy's
now
name?
Brian wants to take us on a hike and tell us about his new boyfriend.
I'm gay now.
I'm gay and being very well taken care of.
I love pasta.
I've always loved pasta. But no, what do you guys think?
That's why your boyfriend's gay.
One character in the show that was mine. I liked him. I thought he was. I think maybe the reason I kept watching was his character.
Right. I thought all of them were very unfunny. I thought the Tina Fey character was funny. I kept wanting her to be more like Liz Lemony.
Like 30 Rock Tina.
Yeah. And so I'm just like watching it, waiting for her to do something like it was like watching a terrible episode of 30 Rock where they went on a long weekend trip.
I wish the whole cast was 30 Rock just in different roles. Like Kenneth and Tracy Morgan could have been the gay couple.
And it's the Italian guy.
Oh, yeah. That would have been
my God. That'd be amazing. Look, I know I got a bad heart, but I want to do a lot of cocaine.
Yeah.
I can't do a good Tracy Morgan. That was close.
Come on, Kenneth. Let's get out of here.
That was pretty good.
I'm making crawfish.
Come on,
good old Southern cooking right here.
Glenn, you gotta pinch the head and then
you suck the head juice out. You know what that's like back in like Sheila in the Bronx. It's like
talent.
This is 100% improvement already.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, anybody, do you have any Rico character you liked, and then we'll give it grades and move on.
I didn't like any character. I didn't like any part of the show, except for the ending. It was really disappointing. You put this cast together, and you didn't try. Which I guess it's like, here's a bunch of money, but whatever. If it was billed as a comedy, there's no jokes, there's no funny premises, just fucking stupid.
Yeah,
but it's still like number 8 on Netflix top 10. So I guess people like it.
Unless that's all full of shit, that Netflix
could be
rating bull. You pay for it.
It's one of those shows. It sucks, but it's depressing. But you know what? I think we're forgetting how many people out there are in fact depressed and don't have good senses of humor also, that are like watching this like, that's me. I wish I had the balls to be Steve Carell. Or, oh yeah, this is funny. This is me. This is me and my husband. Mm-hmm. We also suck shit, you know. There's a lot of people out there that suck shit, man. That are like, hey, these people suck too.
Only thing I have in common with those people is that I've eaten a crawfish. That's about it. But other than that,
grades.
All right, I'll go first. I'll give it a C. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. Like you said, some people probably like it. Wasn't for me, but I liked it. They got a good cast in there. I thought that was okay. That's the only thing that made
part of the reason I'm giving it a bad grade. They're wasting their talents, Don. Wasting the talent of the cast. I'll go next.
Okay, go.
I will go next. I give it a D+. It was. at best, I mean, for whatever reason, the reason I didn't give it an F is because it got me. I kept watching for whatever reason, so it hooked me because I was like, "What's gonna happen?" And then what happened? I was like, "All right, so he did break up with her," and then I think I was just like lazy. I just put it on, but it was not funny, and it got worse. Every episode just got shittier and shittier, and honestly, more depressing. Because spoiler, guys, guess what? The other relationships also aren't great. And there's cracks in every relationship. And some of them work out better and some of them don't. I haven't finished it. I'm not going to finish the series. But it just got more melodramatic and unfunny.
Mm-hmm.
It just, what a waste. What an absolute waste.
This is what happens when those comedians want to be serious actors.
Exactly. That's part of the syndrome.
Serious actors just have something to act about. Have a good script. This is an F easily.
You ain't gonna be Tom Hanks. Not everybody can be Tom Hanks.
It wasn't entertaining. This is like Good Will Hunting getting an F in math in 8th grade. You're like, you're a fucking genius. But just because you show up and sleep in class doesn't mean you get a D. You're not doing anything. You get an F. Come on, be better. Don't wait till you're a janitor at Harvard to become a success. Do it now.
You can't give it an F, Rico. This is not Dennis Leary going Dutch bad.
I think it was worse than that.
That was really bad.
Nothing was.
There was at least 2 moments in that show that I laughed at. At least
there were at the very beginning. There were 2 jokes that were funny.
There you go. So it's 100 times better in my book. 100% better.
And this was twice as long. It was an hour show too.
No, it was only 26.
No, yeah, it was only.
It was 26 minutes.
What? The 4
seasons?
It was 30. They're long.
It's just because you watched 10 of them at once.
You're wrong.
All right,
you're wrong.
I specifically looked at it.
Rico is counting every agonizing minute.
Oh, wow. 27 to 35 minutes per episode. Well, that goes to show you how much it sucked. I thought it was an hour long because every episode seemed like it was an hour. That's how shitty the show was. Every episode seemed like an hour. Ugh, gross.
I wonder, this is terrible because then if Netflix has it ranked high, those idiots that made the show, they're not even going to know how stupid it is. They're going to think they did a great job and make more garbage like this.
They will. Well, that's why we're here. The FEPCAST is keeping it honest. We're here. We're the only people you can trust, guys. Trust us.
All right.
Moving on. Let's talk about our next show. A classic, a comedy classic. So I thought. Get to Life, starring Chris Elliott of Scary Movie 2 fame. One of the funniest movies ever made with one of the greatest
also
characters. Cabin Boy, fantastic film.
Great role. Something About Mary.
Something About Mary. He's amazing in that.
He's in there
as what's his name? The dingus boyfriend, Doofy or something.
Wiggly, something like that.
Woogie
yeah.
the stalker. God, Cameron Diaz looked so hot in that movie and then fell off a cliff.
Well,
what?
She had hernia surgery. What do you expect? She got old.
Oh God, my hernia hurts right now. Think about it. It's like Harry Potter's scar. If you say the name of it, it fucking starts throbbing.
Voldemort came to butt rape you.
Well, he's got a big dick because it hurts. He got in there deep. He pounded my cervix.
He's a Slytherin. It's a big snake dick.
Hey, have you ever been a member of House Slytherin? Because there's gonna be a little Slytherin in you. Anyway, so moving on. Get a Life, starring Chris Elliott, a show which I remember from I think mostly because I remember the theme song. This show, first off, it has "Stand" by REM as the theme song. How much that cost? I have no fucking idea.
Well, this is like the early 90s, so I don't think bands really knew their they were probably in some terrible contract with maybe subsidiary of
maybe
CBS.
Universal Music, maybe Universal Pictures or Universal Studios made this show.
Yeah, so there was
maybe Universal Music had their rights in this. Yeah, maybe it was real cheap because I was like, I was like, how do they afford this?
I remember that being the theme song. I'm like, I was singing it in my head before it started. I'm like, is this right? Do I have the right recollection? And yes, I did.
Yep, but they played another well-known song to start the episode, which wasn't even the theme song. Then they played not Vacation from National Lampoon, but like another song that's like similar to Vacation from National Lampoon later on when they're at the theme park. That is a very famous song. Well known. It would cost you $1 million to license the song today.
You're right. It reminded me of like I was watching a movie with the head over heels.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that song.
That's a very, very expensive song to license. And these fuckers had 3 different expensive licensed songs. So to your point, it must have been something where Universal Music was able to give it to them for cheap, because I was blown away not to give it away too early based upon how shitty this show was that they could afford that much music in this pilot episode of a Chris Elliott show.
Yeah, it was like watching a 80s movie with the 3 fancy songs in there. I'm like, what is this? I was like, this show is low ass budget looking and it's got like movie style scoring.
The lighting, I made a note. The lighting in the show is terrible. It's terrible. It looks like it was shot on a VHS.
Yeah, it looks like it was shot on VHS in a garage.
Yeah,
like the sets are bad, the costumes are bad. I mean, the whole thing is bad.
I mean, I remember liking this show too, so maybe it picked up.
Only 2 seasons.
I was also in like 5th grade, so I don't know.
Maybe season 2 got better.
Season 2, episode 8 really nailed it, and that's the one that we all
saw. What? I think it was on after Married with Children, at least one of the seasons. So, you get warmed up by Al Bundy, and you're already kind of laughing, and then you.
Oh yeah,
it
definitely. That's definitely a trick of the networks.
Yeah, but that tells you how bad a show is. If Married with Children, one of the most popular long-running shows of all time, can't keep you alive more than 2 seasons, your show is awful.
And it's also the same audience, like that dark comedy. People like hearing you make fun of stuff. Yeah.
Blue collar.
I'll tell you what. Humor. Well, I mean, if we're going to go into the breakdown of the show, I'll give you why I think it didn't do too well.
That's what we're here for, Don.
Well, I think it was lame that you didn't have any good characters. All you had was him. And then in the episode, he goes to hang out with his best friend, who he doesn't even want to hang out with him. His best friend's like kind of like annoyed that he's there. So it gets to feel like
if someone climbed in my bedroom window and woke me up.
Well, yeah, let's set the stage here. So Chris Elliott is a stay-at-home son that's 30, lives with his parents.
He has a job.
Ahead of his time, by the way. This show would do gangbusters today because half the men living at home are living with their parents.
He has a job, though. He
has a job.
Yeah.
In journalism.
Yeah.
Which was one of the funnier no funny lines in the episode. That was one of the funnier unfunny lines.
Right, that you find out that he works in journalism and you just assume that he's a reporter or some kind of newspaper story writer, but then you find out.
Did you really assume that with the name of the show, Don?
Oh, no, but it was a good misdirection.
But exactly. Yeah, remember, it's a pilot episode.
That whole speech. He wakes up. And he starts doing some weird aerobics right away, but he's like pumping his arm like Pauly D and Jersey Shore.
I like that he starts brushing his teeth, and then he has a big crush on Daryl Hannah, and he kisses the poster, and there's this just toothpaste goo running down the poster. That cracked me up.
Yeah, it does have like the 80s kid vibe, like waking up in the morning.
There was a Power Glove in it.
Yeah, there was a Nintendo Power Glove. It was old school.
That was weird too. Like, why is your Nintendo?
Wait, hold on. Wait. Keep a note on that, because I just want to say real quick before we get this thread. So he gives a whole diatribe on being in journalism and how he loves the stanky grit of journalism, and you find out that he's a paper boy. Now, Rico, go back to the Daryl Hannah poster.
Well, I wasn't talking about the Daryl Hannah poster. Maybe Don was.
Oh, sorry.
But I was talking about his workout where he couldn't do like one push up. That was a weird part. And then he goes down, he meets with his parents. We're sitting at the kitchen table having their morning coffee, and he's like, "Why are you up so early?" Blah blah blah. And
you're retired. Why do you wake
wasn't
up?
really funny.
Yeah, that was.
And he goes delivers the paper, and he, looking at some old broad, overweight, and he
bending over to get the paper.
Causes himself to crash into a car because she's bending over.
Nobody saw that coming.
Yep.
Unlike in Wayne's World, the funniest person crashing into a car ever, Wayne's World, when the chick with the neck brace is waving at Wayne and Garth when they're playing hockey and then smashes into a car and flips over. Didn't see it coming. Hilarious.
I do like that one. It's a good one. That's a really good stunt person, whoever eats it into that car hood on that bike.
Yeah. So the whole point of, so then he climbs up a roof. By the way, he was like a parkour star. Like, it's Chris Elliott. You can't do a push-up, yet you scramble onto this roof and through up to second story window with no problem at all. That was amazing.
And actually, that's realistic. A creep would easily know how to do that, right? He can't do exercise, but he could easily creep through your bedroom window and spy
creep up and find a way to slither up. Well, this is the thing. So, like Don was saying, his best friend, he goes through the window, as Rico described, slithers up, delivers his papers, and goes through the window of his best friend's bedroom where he's sleeping with his wife, and wakes him up, which is, I don't know. It's like, I swear to God, writing sitcoms in the 80s, man, like the dumbest fucking shit you can imagine. You're like, and then this happened. Hilarious.
Well, this was the 90s.
Not funny. It's not a funny premise. That's right. It was 90 and 91 or 91 and 92, this series.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is funny about the premise of going into your best friend's bedroom, especially, as Don said, when he doesn't like you. His wife would fucking kill you. You would not be friends anymore. If I don't care if you guys regularly climbed into my bedroom through the window and woke me up and my wife up, we would not be friends anymore, period. And also, I would lock the goddamn windows.
Yeah. And if I just want to go to your house to tell you, let's go to the amusement park, I just wait, for a normal time in the morning to come and tell you to do that. I wouldn't need to go. Just like, hey, it's 9:40. I'll go over there.
He went to work, and apparently phone. You can't call him on the phone.
Well, he said he had 2 tickets to the amusement park. Have you ever been to an amusement park where you could only go on a certain day if you had tickets? Like, this ticket is
there's blackout dates.
What?
Yeah.
Go anytime this year, buddy. Go on a day he's off.
He's got it, for the opening of the Twister Rama or whatever it was.
Yes, Hyperloop or whatever it was. The first, it is funny though. We're excited about the first looping roller coaster. Now we take it for granted. How far we've come with the looping roller coasters.
Now we expect 6 loops or more.
Yeah. And he convinces his friend to take off work somehow because he's overstressed. And he realizes his friend, Larry, who realizes he's overstressed because his kids come in and they tell him they wanted to play with his Power Glove for his Nintendo. And the dad, Larry, yells at him. And he says, it's my Power Glove and my Nintendo.
How are you rooting my save games?
Yeah, very unfunny. So they go to the theme park, and then they proceed to have a montage to, as we said earlier, the song that's like la 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 license.
Head over heels.
Head over heels. Yeah, montage of them doing shitty rides before they get to a set where they built a roller coaster scene. And this is the one thing I respect about the show. They built an upside down goddamn roller coaster track in a soundstage, and they had those fuckers hanging upside down from it. And that was interesting. Even though clearly you could see the
really
paint
hang
marks
upside
on the walls.
Down? Couldn't you just build it and then invert the camera?
I thought that's what they were doing, Rico, but that's not. They did it upside down because you can see when they have the shit fall, and also when he has the drink upside down, it is 100%. He opens the drink and 100% that liquid's going down. It ain't. There's no way to replicate that.
Chris Elliott does all his own stunts. He's basically the Jackie Chan of network TV.
They did it. Granted, it was one room painted blue, and it was funny. Like I said, the low budget. That's why I wrote that the lighting on the show is so shitty. The lighting was so awful in this room. They were pretending. So they go to the ride. They go on the roller coaster 6 times. And for some reason, the guy who's running the roller coaster, there's only 2 cars, and they're the only people in the car, and they're not letting anybody else on. And they let them go 6 times in a row, which does not happen, by the way.
And that's the other funny thing, too, is that the roller coaster only has 2 cars. It's the
2 cars, and they apparently just letting them ride it. They're not, they're not making them
Why
get
doesn't
off.
anyone else go in the second car?
Yeah, and no one's allowed in the second car, and you're allowed to ask to keep going. Nobody has.
And the people don't complain. I'd be like, what the fuck?
They're just like,
buddy?
I guess they're going again, kid. Sorry. Yeah, we got a ticket. So, and also the guy that was running the roller coaster, he was the guy that was he was the thief in Conan the Barbarian. An amazing, iconic role with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And look how far he's fallen. Now he's roller coaster operator in this piece of shit. Terrible.
Well, the 80s and the 90s were cruel mistresses to a lot of actors.
One day you're on top of the world. One day you're raping a chick in a Darth Vader mask in Revenge of the Nerds. The next day you never see it again until you have to come back and go to children's parties to rape chicks as Darth Vader in Revenge of the Nerds for $50. So they go on the roller coaster. They get stuck upside down on the roller coaster. Oh, what a twist! It screeches to a halt.
You know what, though? It never would have happened unless Chris Elliott insisted they go that one more time. Like just one more time.
Got him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know how physics works, but I don't think a car that's moving it would just stop in the middle, right? It would either fall back or go.
I would have agree with you, Rico, but this has actually happened in real life. So
yeah, I've seen footage of them stopping all the time mid loop. So I don't know why it does that. I don't think they can.
A brake malfunction is my guess, because they do have brakes on them that lock in. So it's got to be a brake malfunction, but it happens. So for sure.
I like how after that the news came up and had a platform that interviewed him on. But the roller coaster, the theme park, never thought of getting a platform to just get them off.
They don't have a crane. The news, yeah, exactly.
Do you know who the mechanic was?
The news crane. Like you can't have an electrical crane go up.
So the guy who was working on the controls to try to fix the elevator was a member of No Ma'am in Married with Children.
You're right.
So
yes, he is. He's also in Overboard too. That old movie.
He's done a lot of things. As like guy who yells about things. That's his. That was his role.
I think he's also in Friends. He's like the super in Friends.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don knows his whole resume.
That's from memory.
I don't even know. That's the only
person. The useless information in my brain is. I wish there was better use to my head, but no, it's full of crap. What are you gonna do?
So they're on the roller coaster. Eventually, Chris Elliott he says, I'm so powerful and strong, I'm going to let myself out and climb down. This is after they're visited by the newswoman. Oh, by the way, one of the other few funny lines in this episode is when the news lady, he's like, you're up here with the crane. Can we just get on your news crane and ride down with you? And she goes, I have to maintain journalistic objectivity.
Yeah, we can only observe you.
You die. Yeah. It's like Marty McFly and Back to the Future. I can't change the past.
Like nature documentary.
That was entertaining. But otherwise, Chris Elliott tries to he's like, I'll unlatch my seatbelt and climb down on the rungs. And of course, he just then unlatches himself and he's like, dangling. And naturally, that's when the car starts to move. And down they go. And that was pretty much the end of the terribly unfunny episode.
Well,
they show back up.
Yeah, one aspect real quick that you didn't touch on that I thought was amusing was that his friend was in the full suit and tie throughout the entire amusement park day. He didn't even
calls out of work.
Didn't
calls out of work.
Coat, didn't loosen a tie. You're like, okay, I like it.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Why would you not change it to a fucking t-shirt and jeans? You already called out of work. Why are you going to wear your full suit to the theme park?
He wanted his family to think he still went to work. That's why
he didn't want to take a spare pair of pants into the car and change when he's there. Impossible.
Like our old friend Sam from our fraternity, he would have a change of clothes in his car in case he got drunk and slept in his clothes, and he just changed into different clothes and go to work.
That's not a bad idea.
It is red Mazda Miata or something like that. It was a very gay red car. Yeah, I will say that.
Kidding.
Yeah. I forgot the last part of the episode. So the guy skips out of work. Chris Elliott calls in and pretends he says he's sick and he has a funeral to go to, and the guy skips out of work to go to the theme park. And
that was kind of funny, though. He called in saying he was sick and he had to go to
a funeral and talked to like a black dude. It's like, hey, it's me, Larry. I got to go to a funeral out there.
Yo, I can't come in there, man.
But then, of course, classic 80s style, they finally get off the roller coaster, and who just happens to be there? Larry's boss at the accounting firm, just standing around at the bottom of the roller coaster when they get off. What a coincidence.
What's he doing at the amusement park?
Yeah, I thought it was a busy day. They had to save some account. I guess no one cares about this company.
So fucking ridiculous.
It's like
and then this guy, he's just standing around at the bottom of the roller coaster like, people are stuck at the top. Let's just sit here for a few hours and wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
They get
watch
down.
A death.
Yeah, watch a death. With his young daughter. Let's see these people die. He's like, all right, well, you're fired, Larry. I can't believe it. But the television crew's there. And Chris Elliott, hero moment, goes on live TV and says, would you fire this man for making a mistake? And his boss is forced to take him back. Of course, if I was his boss, I would have taken him back on camera that day and immediately fired him as soon as they said.
Exactly. like any good boss.
Immediately fired the next morning. Like, this is before the internet. No one's going to find out if I fire you tomorrow, guy.
Was the boss also in a full suit? I think he was.
He was also in a full suit for some reason at the theme park. Yes.
Don't be comfortable at the amusement park, people.
It's like this planes in the 60s. You had to dress up back in the 90s when you went to Six Flags.
To ride.
Yeah. So that was.
Oh, dare I say?
Yeah,
that was it.
I was so disappointed. I was so ready to laugh. I was so excited to laugh because I love Chris Elliott.
Yeah.
I remember the show being good, and I was I was ready for like zany, un-PC, like boundary pushing kind of goofiness, because that's what I remember it as. And I was like, holy shit, how did this show stand for 2 seasons, and how did Chris Elliott have a career after this?
Yeah, you wanted something more like Al Bundy, right? How it was just some good back and forth, good banter. That's a good example. Like Al Bundy had Peg, right? So just that two characters going at it on the screen was hilarious because they were ripping into each other. Chris Elliott's got nobody to be on the screen with.
But dude, it was well written. Even you could, in the first 2 minutes of the episode, you were like, this is going to be bad. Like, did you guys literally within the first 2 minutes, you could tell you're like
20 seconds when he gets up and just dancing around for one whole minute on the camera. You're going, what are you dancing around for? This is
so bad. And he does like, I'm a corporate animal. Like it was. I mean, that's your best jokes. You're putting your best jokes up front to catch people. And
was he on Saturday Night Live though? Before this?
I don't think so.
I don't
maybe.
Think so.
I thought he was, or I thought he was on some kind of sketch comedy show. I was thinking like maybe this was like he was kind of riffing into a character that he had been doing on some kind of,
maybe it was a stand. I mean, Chris Elliott, I thought, did stand up at one point. Maybe Corporate Seal was a stand up thing. I don't know.
It's a weird.
For me, Chris Elliott came out of nowhere. I had no idea who he was.
The the character itself, like it's a loser who lives at his parents' house who delivers papers. No one's gonna want to be his friend. He's not gonna have really clever banter with anybody. He's more like a Dennis the Menace kind of character where he's just gonna be annoying.
Yeah.
Maybe they bring in a friend later.
In the Abyss.
Yes, he was.
So...
That's unrelated to what we're talking about, but thank you.
Well, you said he came from nowhere. He was in the Abyss. It's a huge movie.
Abyss was definitely after this show.
No, 1989.
Really?
That's how we got on the show.
I don't believe that The Abyss launched his comedy sitcom career, Rico. I find that very hard to believe.
Well, immediately after Get a Life, he was in Groundhog Day. So maybe.
Oh, that's right. He's in Groundhog Day. I love him in that too.
He was good in Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day is a great movie.
Yes. It is. Well, anyway.
I enjoy watching it every year, which is very weird. I don't get sick of it.
My hernia is throbbing. What do you give this?
2 hernias down or up or whatever the hernias do. I don't know. I'll give this also a C. Not good, not bad. Just whatever. Don't waste your time watching it. Nobody did back then anyway. So
I'm gonna watch a random episode and like end of season 1, season 2 to see if it got much better. Because I remember liking this show. And I just can't imagine. This pilot gets a D. If we were reviewing this show for and I'd never seen it before, I would never watch another episode. Like,
agreed. Yeah, I agree. Let me see what I wrote down. I think I also gave it a D. Yeah, I would. I'm amazed it stayed on. I don't understand why I have a fondness for it in my brain after seeing this first pilot.
I think also back.
Bad.
Early in the 90s, the Fox network needed anything, so anybody got a show, and so he was one of them because they didn't have anything other than you had The Simpsons, X-Files, and Al Bundy, and it's all they had. And so anybody who showed up at the Fox office and says, "I have an idea for a show," great, we need content. We're like Netflix in 2020. But they didn't have Netflix back then, so that'd have been weird. Like, whoa, future joke.
All right, so what should we do for next episode? What do we think?
All right, I have.
And are we doing it next week to make up for missing a week, or are we waiting 2 weeks? Let's figure out.
I say we could do it. We could do it next week if you want to get back on that train.
Yeah, that's fine. Because I have 2 shows that I am super, super excited about. I'm like the Peter Dinklage in Elf, where he has amazing ideas and he just wants to dive right in. Okay, so show number 1, and this is getting back to the very roots of the original show. Show number 1, 90-Day Hunt for Love, which has former cast members of 90 Day Fiancé on like a Love Island type thing. Where they find new love.
I'm in.
Like something kind of like
is that coming up?
Like Bachelor in Paradise style?
Here this week.
Yeah.
So
I'm in. I can't wait.
Let me hunt. It's called Hunt for Love. I know Colt is on it.
Hunt for cunt.
Oh God, Colt. I love
Colt
me some
is
Colt.
on it. That Tim that was everyone thought was gay is on it. Uzman is on it. Chantel. I mean, this is a tour de force. So, I'm excited.
All right.
The other show.
That's what I can watch with my wife too. She'll be on that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I won't even go to the other show then.
All right. If your other show's new, you can save it for the next time.
Yeah.
Old shows. I thought of a couple.
Show.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Birthday boy gets to pick.
I'll say one. You tell me if you could find it. There's an old show called Spin City. Do you guys remember that show?
Yes.
Michael J. Fox City with David Spade.
Yeah, it was Michael J. Fox. He worked for the mayor. He was like the
not on anything.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you guys find it anywhere?
As rent or buy on Amazon.
The other one I thought was a show that I never watched, but it was very popular. Was Frasier. I think that shouldn't be.
Oh, okay.
Too hard.
Yeah, I'm down with Frasier.
Yeah.
Actually, no. We should save. If we're gonna do Frasier, we should do a old Frasier, new Frasier, because they rebooted Frasier this past year.
Did?
Yeah.
Oh, like
we should dedicate
Peacock
an episode to Frasier.
Frasier A. Okay.
Frasier A, Frasier B.
How about
well, as we know, Norm just died. The guy who played Norm. Wasn't there a show about like a spinoff with Cliff or something that lasted like 3 episodes? Could have sworn there was.
No, I don't think
Frasier itself was, I think, a spinoff
right.
of the show, but I'm not familiar with any other.
Well, Frasier was a spinoff of Cheers.
Yeah, he was one of the guys.
So that says 4 Cheers spinoffs. Let me see. Frasier, the Tortellis. So this is about Coach, I guess. It doesn't.
Wayne's show Coach is a good show.
Huh?
We have so many other old shows, by the way, to watch. Okay. Let me just bring up the list.
What about
so many shows?
I got another one. 2.5 Men.
You know what? Let's do that. I've never watched an episode of that show.
I've watched like here and there episodes.
Don't give it away. I've never seen it. Maybe I think it sucks shit.
See where you can find that if that bad boy's streaming.
A lot has been coming out recently about Charlie Sheen raping Corey Haim, by the way.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I hope that's not.
Well, we're going to talk about it next week. All right. We got our show lineup. Next
week,
we're going to talk about Charlie Sheen raping Corey Haim on the set of Lucas. We're going to get into
90 Day
Men. I almost said 2 Men and a Little Baby.
Hunt for Butt.
2.5 Men. And I just thought, Herman's Head would be a great one to do one time too.
I'll add it to the list.
90 Day Hunt for Love.
90 Day Fiance Hunt for Love. And we're going to do 2 Men, 2.5
Men.
Can't say that right. All right. Awesome. I'm excited for it. Don.
And we're going to do it just in 1 week too.
Yep, just next week, next Thursday. Sorry, we're changing the schedule up, guys. Rico to ask for Wednesday. Next Thursday, we're back on for the show.
That's right.
Don, it's your birthday, man. Take us out. Last words for the birthday, man.
It was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!